guys, and welcome back to another video in this week's DearPiggy Basic Algorithms tutorials. Wow, I don't think I'll ever get used to saying that. I just got used to saying basic data structures, and now I'm saying algorithms. Just like when I write the date on my test, I'll still be putting 2021 instead of 2022. Oh my goodness. Okay, so like I promised from the last video, we kind of talked about the general idea and concept and gave a real life example of prefix sum. So in this video, we're going to take our cookie business and we're going to put it into code so that the computer knows how awesome my cookie business was. Hint, that wasn't actually my cookie business. It was just me eating all the cookies, but I obviously chose to make it a cookie business. I mean, who would want to say this is how many cookies Sun eats per day? No, let's make it into a cookie business, right? Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you the code here. We don't have any new data types, and that's kind of the biggest difference between algorithms and data structures, because algorithms is a lot of new data types like linked list, hash map. I kind of said this last time already, but now we really are going to create a function, and this function is where the magic happens. So let's look at our function. It's going to take in parameters. We haven't done that in a while, so this is a good review. It takes in a normal array, integer array, one random number n, and then a new array called prefix sum. And so since we talked about, in this case, let me show you the picture here. When we add our values, since there's nothing to be added to for the first value, so you can't add these zeros to anything. It doesn't matter if they're ones or twos or tens, you can't add that to anything because there's no previous value. They're always going to be the same. So we're going to put that out there. The first value, the 0th index of the prefix sum, is the same as the 0th index of the normal array. And then we're going to put a for loop. So the for loop, we are going to use for loops so much in this class, so much. Not that I'm a huge fan of for loops, but they do get the job done. A couple things that I do want to just throw out there, whether you're doing anything that's really time concerned or like contests especially, you cannot have nested for loops because those will generally time out. So this is why we're kind of pretty much just doing one over here. So this is, we're going to start from when I is equal to 0. Reason being, we don't want to start from 0 because we know that the 0th index will always be the same. So we're going to skip that, go straight to 1. I is less than n. We'll talk about what n is later. And then I plus I, same thing. Okay, so basically, when we do our prefix sum, we're going to say whatever index value of I is just the same as the previous prefix sum plus the current value of the array. This isn't anything new, guys. This isn't hard. I'm telling you a secret. This is the concept that we wrote up here. This concept put into code, because all it is save the previous sum added to the current index value. So our current prefix sum is just the previous prefix sum plus the current value in the original array. So no surprises there, right? That's literally just the concept put into code. Then over here, let's talk about what these values are first. We have our original integer array. So this would be, for example, our cookie sales or the number of daily YouTube subscribers. And then we have n, which is actually our array length. So this is kind of up to you. We're going to create an n here just because I think it's easier for you to see. But if you didn't want to use n, you could just say I is less than array.length, which we might try later to replace the n. You can completely get rid of n if you want to just say I is less than array.length, which we might do. I'll see. And then we say we have a new integer prefix sum, which is just a new integer array with n values in it, right? And so then we're going to run our function. And in our function, we pass in our regular array here, the values that it needs, n, which is a number, which we created up here, and our prefix sum array. We're going to say for I starts from 0 now because we're printing out every single value in the prefix sum array, because we don't have to worry about 0 or 1 because we already gave a 0 separate value here and a 1 separate value here. So we start from 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. System.out.println prefix sum I. So guys, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, let's go ahead and get into it. Really, I think all that we really need to focus on is this function here, because that is really what we're using. We don't need too much in the other parts, because this is just saying this is going to run the function that does everything, and this is just the function that prints out all of our values, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and do it, guys. It's been a while since we created our own functions, so let's go ahead and here, underneath the main function, but still in the main class, static find PS, and then we're going to take in 3 values. Let's go with 3, and then in a second we can change it to get rid of n. So we're going to say we need an integer array called ARR. We're going to need an int n, and we're going to need an int prefix sum array. Oh wait, no, that is not an array. My bad, guys. There we go. Prefix sum array. And then we're going to create our function here. Now, in our function, what we want to do first, remember, is set the first value in our prefix sum the same to the first value in the original array. So let's go ahead and do it. Prefix sum 0 is equal to ARR 0. Once we've done that, we're going to say a for loop, and since we already gave our 0th index, we can just start from 1. Int I is equal to 1. I is less than n. Again, we could possibly replace this later. I'm going to say plus plus I, just so you guys can get used to seeing something a little different. Okay, now in here, we just give the classic conceptual definition, but written in code. Meaning, whatever our current prefix sum I is, that's just equal to the sum of the previous prefix sum, I minus 1, plus the current array value of I. Right? Conceptual definition put into code. It might take you a few times to read over it, but trust me, once you've read over this a few times, it's going to make sense. Because this is just literally the conceptual definition. There's no changes. It's just the conceptual definition written in code. Now, let's get counting for my cookie business. Or really, it's just how many cookies Sunny eats a day. But let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to create int array is equal to the first day. Let's say every day on New Year's, I'm always like, I'm going to stop eating so many cookies. And so the first day I'm going to eat 1. The second day I'm like, oh, I can eat a little more. Third day, oh, I can eat a little more. Fourth day, screw it. You know what? No more New Year's resolution. We're going to eat as many cookies as we want. Oh, wow. Okay, that day really, we had a lot. And oh, this day, you know what? It wasn't me. I shared my cookies with my imaginary friends. It wasn't just me, guys. All right. So we have an array. Now let's create our integer n. Integer n is just going to be the length of this array. Because we want our for loop here to keep running until the length, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to create our integer prefix sum array. Oops, not that one. You know what? I can probably close out of this. There we go. So in our prefix sum array here, we're just going to create a new array, which has a length of n, and assign that to a prefix sum array. There we go. Let's go ahead and do it. Int prefix sum is equal to new int. There we go. Array has been created. All of our previous values that we need to pass in have been created. So let's go ahead and run our function. Find PS array and prefix sum. Look how smart, guys. Aren't you proud? It automatically plugged these in because it knew what we were doing, and these were the matches. So we didn't have to do anything, and REPL did it for us. We've now passed in our original array for our cookie sales, then our n, which is like the length, and then our prefix sum array that we're going to save values into. So now all that's left is really to print out the values. You have to understand this last for loop isn't really anything special. It's really just printing out all of our prefix sums that are currently in this array over here, right? Because this function is going to add values into this array. This for loop is going to print out the values that are in this array. So let's go ahead and do it. So for int I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, we're going to system out and we're going to print out prefix sum I. And then at the end, I'm not really sure why there's a system out.println with that, but you know what? We're just not going to put it. Oh, I noticed that we should probably put a plus space here just so that we can see the differences between the numbers, right? So let's run it and see what happens and see if there are any errors. So we ran it. Let's give it a second to run. All right, there we go. Perfect. We get 1, 4, 9, 18, 29, 96, 196. Guys, how many days was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The course of 7 days, I had 196 cookies. So if we divide that by 7, that is essentially 28 cookies a day. Guys, I have to say, I am really disappointed in myself, but it's okay, because what's a few more cookies? It's not going to kill me. It's just going to bring my mental health and my heart up a little bit, right? Okay, so if you look at this, this has calculated our prefix sums. And so we have 1, if we want to check it, originally day 1 is just 1. Day 2, the sum is 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus another 9 is 18. You keep on adding, and these values do indeed match. So, good job, guys. I think we did pretty good. I hope all of this made sense to you. If not, watch it a couple more times. Really think about the conceptual definition, because that's really what we really need to poke through, and then I think you guys will understand. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. New year, new course. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.